Call the meeting to order at 4:04 p.m. Any public comment? Anybody on? No? So, minutes. I'd like to request approval of the minutes. Any corrections?
I move that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Pat, excuse me.
No, I was just going to say, I second the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Patty?
Yes.
Are you-
Yes, today we have April warrants that total $36,883.73. The total for payroll is $14,618.33. This includes Chief Carlton's salary of $5,278.50, and also Chief Shields' pay of $3,175.83. And there was one event for the commissioners and the secretary. And the total payout for the volunteers, warrants included, was $8,302. Excuse me, sorry for the dog noise, a moment. The neighbors outside. I believe you have the March financial statements that they have been handed out for your review. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the warrants and payroll for April as presented.
I move that April warrants totaling $36,883.73 and total payroll of $14,618.33 be accepted for payment.
Is it a second?
And I second
Been moved and seconded to accept the payroll and warrants for the month of March. All in favor?
that. Aye.
Opposed? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And then I also need to request the board's approval for a correction of the March payroll from $14,325.33, as I previously reported it last month, to $14,825.33. I had previously entered payroll from the scanned copies via email, and that's I reported at the meeting. However, after I reviewed the hard copies, once I got them, I realized there was one voucher that was missing. So I had entered that, so that's what that $500 difference is.
Oh, okay.
It to be moved and approved by the board so it can be officially noted in the minutes as a correction.
Okay. So, could I have a motion to that, to add the $500 to the previous warrants?
I make a motion, we accept that, take $500 as presented.
I second that motion.
Okay, that's passed.
Thank you. And then lastly, I do have a update on the budget. As of March 31st, 2021, we currently have 81.12% left in the budget, and that is compared to 76.85% the same time last year.
Okay, any questions about this? Chief, are you not spending any money this year?
Oh no, we'll be spending money. It's just not catching up yet at this point. So,
So, Patty, do you have anything else?
No, that concludes everything I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Patty, for all you do. That's a lot of work. Correspondence, Chief?
So we've had a lot of emails with giving us thanks and providing merits to all of those that are volunteering to do the vaccination clinics on the weekends. We've got a lot of sweets and sugar items as well in the correspondence by people handing those to us. And I'm not putting on any weight though, so those are positive things at this point. And that's pretty much it. But a lot of emails thanking us for providing the vaccinations and taking care of this community to the best of our ability with the cooperation that we have with the clinic.
Okay. Any comments?
No, I see that the chief is doing a fine job and maybe Canada can take a lesson from him.
I guess I got an interesting phone call today, and it's somebody that has a home here. They've sent emails to the Premier, Justin Trudeau, the Consulate General, the Provincial Health Authority, in regards to the Americans that are in the Lower Mainland. That we probably have, I believe, over 100,000 in the Lower Mainland. He states, this comes from this individual, but probably 1 million Americans live in the Canadian country, in Canada, and how we could possibly try to get those American citizens, regardless of their location in Canada, vaccinated. And he considers Point Roberts a prime location. Obviously not for the 1 million. You can't do that. That'd be a big boom for our economy, but we wouldn't be able to do that with obviously even with federal help, we wouldn't be able to do that many people here. But he was on course, to say that we're well situated to try to benefit some of those people that live in the Lower Mainland as dual citizens or U.S. citizens on permanent residency or green cards in Canada. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to do anything with it, but he wrote a very nice letter to the Premier and Consulate General and stuff, and he just asked me to look into it, so I told him I'd go to the Congresswoman and move forward with that.
It'd be interesting if there's some extra vaccine that might suddenly appear in Washington.
Yeah, it's interesting with what we've been dealing with, and now the pause in J&J that we have. But as far as I know, I haven't got the text yet. Yep, I haven't got the text yet that we have Moderna vaccine in our freezer. So I'm still not calling people until it's in our freezer. And if I do call people, I have around 43 people on the list for this weekend if we do get the Moderna vaccine in. We still have 10 doses of J&J. I do have 4 people right now that will only take J&J. And once J&J is unpaused from the view it's getting, right now it's, all the news channels have, reported 6 people. All women within a certain age. One has died, another one in the ICU, as far as I know as of this meeting. Out of, I think, close to 7 million people or more that have gotten the J&J shot worldwide. So, the numbers that I heard this morning was like a 0.000008% or something like that. I may have added or missed a 0 in there, so please don't take that as fact. Check that number, but it's interesting that they're positive J&J takes 6 people when we have, thousands of people that die from FDA-approved medications on a regular basis, on a yearly basis, and they are approved by the FDA. So it's throwing me for a loop at this point, and hopefully they'll come to a plausible solution, and hopefully the vaccine will be able to get back online.
Any comments?
Well, only that this pause has already shaken the confidence of some people out there in terms of getting inoculated. Confidence wasn't exactly sky high, but it was improving. So it's rather distressing to see this pause and the impact it might have on the reluctance of some people to get vaccinated at all. I certainly hope it gets resolved quickly.
That's great. Chief, do you have any numbers of people who really refused here in Point Roberts?
I'd have to say for the people that have refused that were on the list, I've called and they go, I don't want to be vaccinated. Less than 10. I think 3 come to mind without looking at the list. But actually refusing to get a vaccine, whatever the one we're offering, less than 10, probably less than 5.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. We brought in Johnson & Johnson because we had a group of people that wanted that. They liked the 1 dose access to that, and we had 190 people that participated in last weekend's vaccination event, and they all got the J&J. So as far as I know, everybody's doing fine. I haven't received any phone calls regarding any adverse effects. So we'll see in the coming weeks. Hopefully everybody is still doing well.
I had one phone call from a person who has become very anxious since all of this information came out on J&J. And no real symptoms, just a lot of vague things and not sleeping well. And I tried to encourage them to do some different things and get their mind off of it. But that's all I've heard.
Chief, could you repeat those 2 figures you mentioned? You have how many people waiting for the Moderna and how many Johnson & Johnson shots left?
Sure, we have 10 Johnson & Johnson in our refrigerator at this point that can't be administered because it's on pause. And then we have, as of this meeting, we have 43 people on the Moderna list for this coming up weekend. Okay. And we're supposed to get 100 vaccines delivered to us, but they are still not in our freezer over at the clinic. I'm not going to confirm with people until they're in our freezer. Because last week we were supposed to also get the same dosing from Moderna, and that was taken from us at the last minute. So I had to call quite a few people and cancel the Moderna vaccine for them.
And can I ask you how many people you've got left on the list, whether or not you've got very many calls from people 16 and above?
Good, thank me.
Yeah, less than 100 people on the list at this point that I've come across since I opened up the SurveyMonkey and with additional emails. But the current list I'm working off right now, I think probably has maybe 82 people on the list, if I count everyone. And I think some of those have gone to other places, and I just need to hear that from them. Some are traveling right now, so they're probably going to be getting the shot. So right now we have 43 that would be confirmed for Moderna this weekend. And I think I still have probably 20 left to call.
How about those aged down to 16? We can only go to 18, right?
Right. So 5 to half a dozen 18-year-olds, you know, or 18 to 24-year-olds that will be in this next Moderna vaccination. A lot of the younger people took advantage of the J&J.
Yes, that was, yeah. Okay, any more questions on this? No, let's move on to...
Linda has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know of a number of younger people that got the J&J vaccine last weekend that did suffer some side effects. Did you want to hear from all those people?
No, I mean, if it's just flu, symptoms and
A lot
body
of
ache.
body aching,
Yeah.
lack of sleep.
Yeah, those are general symptoms that each vaccine states that they could have, right?
Okay, yeah.
And no, I wouldn't want to hear from them unless they have ongoing symptoms this week, shortness of breath, chest discomfort, those types of things. But
all the ones I know of their symptoms were dissipating as each day went past.
Yeah, and it's usually 24 to 36 hours, that they have, strong symptoms, after they get the shot, maybe 8 to 10 hours after getting the shot. The J&J, and this is region, so down in Arlington, the J&J seems to present more of a pseudosyncope episode, vasovagal episode with people that are getting the shots, because they do build up anxiety to a degree. The viscosity of the vaccine is thicker than the Pfizer and Moderna, so it burns a little bit going into the shoulder muscle, and that doesn't help with the anxiety issues that maybe some people might have. We did have a couple of people that had some weakness, no true syncope, or fainting, is the syncope is the fancy word for that, but fainting over the weekend with J&J. And getting the shot and having one of those episodes, it's not because of the vaccine that they have, a vasovagal episode within minutes. The vaccine hasn't even taken effect at that point. So it's really the anxiety-induced, type of presentation.
Anything else? Go ahead with your report, T.
Okay, I'm going to try to bring it up. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Can everybody see this?
Yes.
So this is my chief report for April 2021 for March of 2021. Obviously, the vaccine distribution is continuing. As of today, we have 672 people that have been vaccinated, and 211 of those are one shot. We'll be vaccinating those 211 with their second shot on April 25th. So they'll be fully vaccinated by that time. So it looks like, depending on what type of turnout we have for Moderna over the coming weeks, we could have, if we do all 100, then obviously we'll have 772. If we add in, if J&J gets released, and we add that in, then it'd be 782 people that would be fully vaccinated. So, or partially vaccinated with one dose. I really don't have anything to report on the apparatus. Battalion 58, as you know, is being delivered on or before the 21st. That is the new old, I guess, 2015 vehicle that we purchased out of California, and that's going to become Chief Shield's vehicle. It's a 2015 Ford Interceptor, so it looks like the sheriff's vehicle, the sheriff's car. The Dodge pickup is going down to the Dodge dealership in Bellingham on the 26th of this month. We should be receiving the Wildland skid by the end of the month, early or first part of May. We're taking the Dodge down to get a once-over from top to bottom, front to back, to make sure it's in its best shape it can be to receive that Wildland skid that's going to be going into the back of it. So whatever work that needs to be done on it, fluid changing, any type of work on the shocks or anything like that, I'll get that done prior to getting the skid, so it's ready to go. We have 43 members. We've had a couple members get hired into career departments in the Lower Mainland. 25 Canadian, 10 Point Roberts, and 8 County make up that 43, if that comes to 43. Yeah, that comes to 43, my math worked out. We still have 5 paramedics on staff, 8 EMTs, of which 5 are advanced, 3 ambassadors, and 33 firefighters. In the month of March, we had 2,904 hours put in by our volunteers to serve this community. If everybody was being paid, volunteer payroll for the month of March would have been $14,630. I worked 181 hours, Chief Shields 129 hours, with a total of 310 hours between the chiefs. We had 19 calls in the month of March, 13 were medical. We had 3 transports by our ambulance to St. Joseph's Hospital in Bellingham. We had 1 airlift Northwest. We had 7 no transports. We transported to a county medic once, and then North Whatcom BLS unit once. We had 2 EMS cares, community paramedic visits. We had 2 public services, and we had 2 fire classifications, which are both false alarms. And that concludes my chief's report for the month of April for March of 2021.
Any questions? Chief, when the people go out from our vaccine clinics to homes, is that included in your report, or that's just part of the vaccine program?
That's just part of the vaccine program. I haven't been reporting that as a community paramedic visit.
Okay. It's very good that people can receive the vaccine in their homes who can't get in, and I think that we should make some comment about that.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. If I'd like to, I'll leave it, and then new business I want to go back to Patty's report, if I can, just to explain some of the expenses there.
Sure.
So does anybody have, I'll do that, Pat. Does anybody have any questions about my chief's report? No? Okay, so, sorry, I should have done this earlier, but I wanted to go back to Patty's just her breakdown report and the warrants with that. So, Northwest Pathology, we just paid them $13,870, and that's for all the testing we've been doing on our members within this agency to make sure they're not bringing COVID into our community or into the agency as well. So that's about 3-4 months worth of testing. So that's quite a bit that's a big bill. We do have 20,000, booked aside. Those members that have been fully vaccinated, I've reduced them to once a month to get their COVID testing here at the hall. Unless they feel sick, then we'll test them, obviously, at that point. But those members that haven't got vaccinated, they can still test once every 2 weeks. And that'll be an additional ongoing cost that we're having to deal with until more people get vaccinated, I should say. Right now, the Lower Mainland seems to be having a problem with new cases. And so I want to make sure that we're taking care of our membership, that is taking care of the community, and we're not bringing it in somebody's home. Mulberry Ford on that report is the Ford dealership out of California, because we had to have some work done on the vehicle at the Ford dealership before it's being shipped up here. So I had it taken there, and we had some shocks replaced and some other work done on it to get that done. Washington Department of Licensing was to license that vehicle. If you remember, the cost of the vehicle was $32,000. So all of this I'll add up for the commissioners and hopefully have a total next month to report on. EMT and fire training, Devin Heckard, one of our members, is a dual citizen. He has started EMT training with the school that we use out of Idaho. So those are the areas that I wanted to discuss with you.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you for the clarification. So, unfinished business? Nothing? New business? I do want to ask one question, Chief. When the volunteers from Canada come here, they are they part of the vaccination program?
Do you mean have they been offered vaccines?
Right.
Yes.
And
So,
have most of them had the vaccines?
you know what, I don't have a strong number for you. I don't have the exact number. I would have to say there's a good amount that have taken the vaccination here. I do have members that haven't, that have not chosen to have it given to them. Devin Heckert's going to get his first shot this coming up weekend of the Moderna vaccine, so he'll be on this list. But I continue offering it at practices, saying if anybody has changed their mind. But I'll find out how many members I have who have received it, and remind me please to produce that for you.
Okay. My concern is that Canada is now having an outbreak. If they're not being vaccinated, and that means they're being monitored, but they're not being vaccinated, that puts them at risk living in Canada where there's an outbreak. You know, I just feel like they should be more interested in protecting themselves. But
I agree. Right now it's voluntary, it's not mandatory. We have firefighters that I work with at District 7 and in the county that haven't gotten vaccinated, and we deal with COVID positive patients almost on a daily basis down in the county.
it makes no sense.
Yeah, they have their views, and at this point, not being mandatory to work in, you know, the healthcare fields, there's doctors and nurses, you know, at St. Joseph's that haven't got vaccinated as well. So it's a personal choice at this time. So I can't, I'm not going to force any of my members to take it unless I had a legal standing to do so. And right now I don't. I'll continue encouraging.
Given the circumstances that Chairman Lester just outlined, would you consider more frequent testing for some of our Canadian members?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, if anybody feels like they're sick, they're not supposed to report to work. So they don't come into Point Roberts if they feel ill to any degree. And we will, if they do come in, they stay in their vehicle and their one purpose, and that's to come down and get a test and to go back home, and then we test them again the following week. So they don't have any exposure risk to the community by doing that. I wish I could drop tests off to them or test them on my way through Canada, but that poses risk as well, that I can't stop and meet with anybody in order to do that. That would be the best solution for any of my Canadian members, being able to test them very quickly in Canada. But at this point, if someone wanted to report me for stopping, then I can have a lot of negative things happen to me, even though I'm essential for emergency services. So we're doing the best we can. If they want to get tested on a weekly basis, I don't have a problem with that. We just may have to relook at the budget line item and add more money to that, you know, halfway through the year if need be, because it most likely may go past the $20,000 that we have slated for the testing.
Good. Any other comments, questions? Yes.
There's been a little bit of, you know, social media conversation about some recent positive cases. Are you able to expand on maybe the numbers that may have been confirmed positive?
At this point, less than 6.
They'll be getting retested again this weekend, right?
Yeah. And we've had contact tracing within their groups and through the first testing. And it's been about 7 to 14 days since they've had contact with positive individuals, and none of them have come back positive at this point.
Great.
The community needs to understand that, you know, we have a plan in place, as I stated on social media. And I'm making contact with these individuals every few days to make sure it's going well, to make sure that they don't need anything, because we'll go shopping for them and drop the food off at their homes in protective gear if necessary, and be able to do it safely. Obviously, the health department's contacted them; they've given them direction as well. But I personally reach out to these individuals and make sure they're doing okay, and I'm making sure that they don't need medical attention. And all of them seem to be faring very, very well at this point, and they're staying within their quarantine plan. They're not going out into the public, and they've been very honest with the people that they know that they've come in contact with. And those individuals have been able to come in and get tested as to date.
Good. Anything else? Your last chance.
I want to thank everybody. I like talking, so
Go right ahead. We'll listen.
I really want to thank everybody here. So obviously my commissioners for supporting the efforts of this agency in the outreach that we've been doing with the community within the vaccines. Obviously Commissioner Lester, she's the chairman of my board, but she also works for the clinic and is part of that cooperation with the clinic in these vaccine events. So, Linda, thank you so much for doing a great job on all the meeting minutes and participating in the agency and helping get out the correct information to the public when we do. Because I don't participate in the social media back and forth. I try to calm fears because there's no reason to be scared or to have concern about, positive cases here in Point Roberts. We're handling it very well. Those people that are now positive, we don't know where it originated from either, but people in the public need to come back to being vigilant, even when they're around their friends, especially if they haven't been vaccinated. They may feel comfortable being around people that haven't been vaccinated, but if large groups are getting together, then there's a positive risk there, especially if people are working in the Lower Mainland at this time and they're going back and forth and they still haven't been vaccinated, and then they decide to be around people without masks just because they feel okay. Doesn't mean that they're not an asymptomatic carrier of the virus or one of the variants. So I would ask that people just come back to being vigilant, protecting themselves the best they can, not judging other people. And we still have some anti-maskers here that don't wear masks. And, don't judge, don't try to confront those individuals. Just, keep your distance and take care of yourself. Some people are going to do what they want to do. And, just try to be nice and wave, smile at people, help people when they need it. And we'll continue doing the best we can through the fire district, obviously, through the cooperations we have with the clinic and other community groups to extend every helping hand that we can. So please don't be concerned. We'll take care of any positive cases that come up, and we'll do our best to continue protecting the community to the best of our ability.
Well, likewise, the thanks go back to you and your team and everyone involved in the vaccination clinic. It's just the most impressive, slick, beautiful thing. I'm just so impressed.
Thank you. And Patty, thank you for crunching the numbers, even though you're $500 off last month. I appreciate that.
If I were only perfect, Chief. I strive to do better, so there's no shame in fessing up, right? So,
Right.
for our purposes, it is my pleasure.
Something I think most of you are aware about, especially Commissioner Lester, we had a tent event. We had a high wind, and it flipped over one of the tents this last weekend, which destroyed one of our 10 by 20s, but it also landed on one of our members' vehicles. And I had him, it cracked his windshield, caused some scratches to his paint, dented his roof. And so he took it down to a collision repair center, and we've turned that into our insurance company for a claim. Right now, the estimated repairs on his vehicles are around $7,000. I was hoping that it was going to be less than that, but there's some paint work that needs to be done, windshields, realignments and things like that that need to take place. So I felt very bad that that happened, you know, but it's one of our members. It's a vehicle a member vehicle on property. It's a district-owned tent. He's working the event, and so it's the district's responsibility to help that volunteer out. And that would be with any volunteer that this would happen to, because obviously the district's issues and equipment were at fault for that. But it's supposed to be 65 degrees this Saturday, and so if that's the case, and we have a vaccine event this weekend, just to let you know, most likely we'll start at 1 o'clock for their first doses, and we'll have testing probably 10 to noon for COVID testing. So we'll have the break for lunch, and we're very familiar with the Moderna vaccine, so I think that hour will be enough. And we won't have to set up as many tents if it's going to be that warm out. And I think we'll enjoy some sun, maybe vaccinating another group of people.
Good.
Saturday?
That'll be Saturday, yeah. And I haven't let the people know because I still don't have the vaccine in hand, but once I put that out to social media, Pats, it'll probably, everybody will be scheduled at 1 o'clock, just because we'll have probably maybe 50, 60 people. And we've been doing over 100 an hour, has been our pace with our vaccines.
Would you be able to give a guesstimate of how many people are on the point under the age of 18? I mean, would you have a ballpark?
No, I don't. Between the 18, 18 to 24 age range, maybe 100, that I've come in contact with, with couples and things like that. 50 to 100 between the ages of 18 and 24. That's a rough, but yeah, that's very rough.
There's 17 kids at the primary school. It'd be sort of interesting. If we knew that figure, we'd have some sort of idea of what percentage of the population has or will be vaccinated.
I think on my list, between the ages of 18 and 24, I think I had maybe 20 people on my list, so I'm sure there's others out there that haven't come forward to get vaccinated.
Okay. Doing well.
Thank you.
On that last note that you said, my coworker is one of the young people, and she absolutely was not of the belief, of the mindset that she was eligible. So she hadn't filled it out until I said, get filled out, and then you obviously contacted her, so she's scheduled. But maybe another outreach specifically to that age group to let them know that they could be eligible. They just need to fill out your survey monkey.
Sure, or just email me at the chief@wcft5.com.
If we all connect with those people, but I don't know all the 18 to 24s.
Yeah, I'll send that out. Yeah, because I'm gonna try to get as many people for this Saturday for the Moderna doses that we have. So I'll be sending out a public outreach message probably later this evening to say, we have 50 Moderna doses left, because right now we have basically 43 that have confirmed pretty much. So we'll have to see what type of response we get with that. And Linda, I'll put the age range in there.
That's good. Anything else, Chief?
I just got notified by Quinnan that the vaccines are in the freezer.
I won this time. Am I forgiven for the last time?
No, you still owe me a lobster. So, no.
He blames me and I have nothing to do with it.
No, I'm still, lobster with butter. I'm still looking forward to it.
Don't forget the butter.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, shall we entertain it?
Excuse me, that's 100 doses that just came in?
Yeah,
Yeah, 100 doses of Moderna.
Terrific. Boy, you put that right in your public announcement. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So Pat, you can go ahead and publish that. We have 100 doses. About 43 are currently taken.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
we really would like to use them all up, and there probably are people who do not know about it or haven't heard about it or feel they're not eligible. So anything we can do to get them in here and get them vaccinated would be good.
Okay.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for adjournment at this point.
Amen.
Okay,
Second?
we will adjourn at 4:45. Thank you all, and Chief, thank you so much.